My grandfather's vintage radio turned on at 3:07 a.m. every night. We unplugged it. We even hid it in the basement. Last Tuesday, from behind the locked basement door, the static finally stopped, and a voice whispered, "I'm in the house." I inherited the old floor-standing radio after he passed. It was a beautiful walnut cabinet thing from the 1940s, but it gave my wife the creeps. She said it felt like it was watching us. The first time it happened, the sudden blast of white noise jolted me out of a dead sleep. The glowing green dial read 3:07 a.m. I stumbled into the living room, unplugged it, and went back to bed. I thought it was a power surge, but it happened again the next night, and the next, 3:07 a.m. on the dot. I had an electrician check it out. He found nothing wrong. Old electronics can do strange things, he said. We started just unplugging it before bed. That worked for a week. Then, one night, I woke up to the sound of music. Faint, tinny big band music coming from the living room. The radio was plugged in. The volume was low. I felt my wife's hand clamp onto my arm in the dark. Her breathing had stopped. "It's plugged in," she whispered, her voice trembling. I watched you unplug it. The cold dread I felt was now a shared terror. I grabbed my baseball bat and went to the living room. The room was empty. The radio was on, the music softly playing. I yanked the plug from the wall. The silence that followed was heavier than the noise. 2 nights ago, it happened again. The static, 3:07 a.m. I was so fed up, so tired, I just yelled from my bed, "What do you want?" The static crackled, then cut out abruptly. The house was silent for a full 10 seconds. Then, a voice, clear and close, as if someone was speaking directly into the radio's microphone, whispered 3 words, "I'm in the house." My blood turned to ice. I called the police. They searched everywhere. The doors were locked. The windows were secure. They found no one. The senior officer, a man named Evans, gave a final shrug. "Nothing here, sir. Doors and windows are secure. You're all clear." As they moved towards the door, Officer Evans stopped. His flashlight beam had swept past the radio and caught something on the dusty floorboards. He paused, then slowly traced the beam back. The radio's plug lay on the floor, a good 5 feet from the outlet. His expression changed. He didn't look at me, but kept his light fixed on the floor. He took a careful step closer, then another, his beam illuminating a trail of faint, dusty footprints we had all missed. They emerged from directly in front of the unplugged radio, crossed the living room, and disappeared down the top step of the basement stairs. The door to which was now, I realized with a sickening lurch, standing slightly ajar. He slowly unclipped his holster. "Sir," he said, his voice low and devoid of its earlier reassurance. "I need you and your wife to step outside. Right now." My father's only rule was to never, under any circumstances, open the basement door after midnight. He said his brother went down there in 1978 and never came out. Last night, something started knocking from the other side. The door was nothing special, just a painted wooden door in the kitchen with an old-fashioned sliding bolt lock. But in our house, it was like a sealed tomb. My dad was a relaxed guy, but about that door, he was dead serious. "Midnight to sunrise, it stays locked," he'd say. "Your Uncle Charlie thought it was a joke. We heard him go down the stairs, and we never heard him come back up." I'd asked what was down there. He'd just shake his head. "Nothing good." I was 24, home from college for the summer. My parents were on a weekend trip. The first night was fine. The second night, I was watching a movie in the living room when I heard it. A soft, timid tap, tap, tap on the other side of the basement door. I muted the TV. My blood went cold. The tapping came again, a little louder this time. It wasn't a frantic banging. It was polite, patient. I called my dad, my voice a whisper. It went to voicemail. The tapping stopped. I spent the rest of the night on the couch, staring at the door, not sleeping a wink. The next night, I had all the lights on. I was trying to convince myself it had been the house settling. Then, at exactly 12:05 a.m., the knocking started again. This time, it was clearer, more deliberate, and then a voice. A man's voice, weak and strained, called out, "Hello? Is someone out there? It's me. It's Charlie. I think I'm lost." It sounded so human, so scared. My hand went to the bolt. My father's warning screamed in my head. But this was a person, my own uncle. My fingers touched the cold metal of the bolt. "Charlie," I said, my voice trembling. The voice on the other side let out a relieved sigh. Yes. Oh, thank God. Please. It's so dark down here. Let me out. I started to slide the bolt. It made a loud, scraping sound. And the moment it unlocked, the voice on the other side of the door changed. The fear was gone, replaced by a low, guttural chuckle. Finally, the voice growled, now sounding nothing like a man. I heard multiple joints pop and crackle on the other side of the thin wood. And then, the doorknob began to slowly, quietly turn. We create rules for the dead of night for a reason. A curfew, a locked door, a promise to never, ever look. It's a way to feel in control when the world is at its darkest and most unpredictable. But the most frightening thought is that those rules aren't for our comfort. They're for our protection. And some doors are locked from the outside for a very, very good reason. I was the only car on a 50-mile stretch of desert highway when a truck started tailgating me. Every time I switched lanes, it switched with me. Then, it flashed its brights, and I saw the driver wasn't human. It was a straight shot through the Nevada desert to get home. 2 in the morning, not a star in the sky. I hadn't seen another car for 20 minutes. That's when the headlights appeared in my rearview mirror. They came up fast, riding my bumper so close I could feel the glare in my eyes. I slowed down, hoping it would pass. It didn't. I sped up. It matched my speed perfectly. My heart started to thump. I tried changing lanes. The truck changed lanes with me, staying inches from my bumper. I could see the outline of it, a big, lifted pickup with a light bar. I fumbled for my phone. No service. Of course. I was completely alone with this maniac. I started honking my horn, flashing my brake lights, anything to get him to back off. He didn't react. He just stayed there, a silent, menacing shadow. Then, he flicked his high beams on. The interior of my car was flooded with blinding light. In that instant, I glanced up at my rearview mirror, expecting to see an angry face. But the windshield of the truck was too high. The light was shining directly into the cab, and I saw the driver. It was a pale, featureless shape. No hair, no visible eyes. Just a smooth, white oval where a face should be, tilted slightly as if it were curious. It wasn't wearing a mask. The shape was wrong, too long and narrow. It was just wrong. I slammed on my brakes in pure, unthinking terror. The truck swerved around me with an unnatural grace, its tires not even squealing. It sped off into the darkness ahead. I sat there on the side of the road, shaking, trying to process what I had seen. After 10 minutes, I saw a single pair of headlights approaching from the direction the truck had gone. It was a state trooper. I waved him down, so relieved I could have cried. I stammered out my story about the tailgating truck. The trooper listened patiently, then nodded. "You're the third person to report that truck tonight, ma'am," he said. He looked down the empty, dark highway. The other 2 drivers, we found their cars abandoned, just like yours is now. Engines running, doors open, but no one inside.